And so today we hear the story of Mary and Martha. Mary sat at the feet of Jesus, listening to him teach, while Martha was distracted by trying to get dinner on the table for Jesus and his disciples. And when Martha complained to Jesus because Mary wouldn't lift a finger to help, Jesus chided her and said that Mary had chosen the better part. Now the point of the story, I guess, is clear. We are not to be so distracted by all our busyness and doing and worrying that we forget what's more important than anything, to listen to Jesus and center our lives in him. And yet, I can't help but wonder, what if Martha had sat down with Mary? What if Martha had not worried herself with dinner preparations and had chosen to listen to Jesus just as Mary had? How long do you suppose before one of the disciples, maybe even Jesus himself, said to Martha, "Say, Martha, you don't happen to have anything in the fridge, do you? You know, some cold cuts or anything like that? And you know, if you have some rye bread, that would really be great. You wouldn't mind, would you? And while you're up, you know, a glass of wine would sure hit the spot." How long would they have let Martha sit there? Not very long, I think. Because the truth is, Jesus and his disciples expected Martha to serve them and take care of them. Why else would they have sought out her home and her hospitality? As one commentator said, why didn't Jesus just stay out by the roadside if his teaching was all that mattered? The reality is that Jesus and his disciples probably looked forward to staying at Martha's after weeks on the road with nothing but fast food and the hard ground for a bed. Jesus knew that his room at Martha's would be clean. His robe would get washed and ironed and mended. He could count on a good meal and a nice warm bed. At Martha's, Jesus could relax, have a little time to himself, even be pampered a bit. That's just the truth of it. Martha did what was very needful, and Jesus enjoyed the benefits of it. And chances are Martha enjoyed what she did. Whenever I read about Martha, I can't help but think of my mother-in-law, Emmy. Up until the time that woman hit 100 or 101, she loved nothing better than to gather the family at her house for dinner, 15 or 20 of us or more. And she'd spend a whole day in the kitchen cooking up our favorite dishes, and during dinner she was continually up and down, running back and forth to the kitchen, making sure everyone had what he or she wanted. And she enjoyed it, and we enjoyed it. She looked forward to preparing her dinners, and we looked forward to sitting down to her dinners. She took great pleasure because what she was truly serving were love and warmth and good feeling. And that was Martha. And that's why Jesus loved to stay at her house. But that's not the point of the story, of course. And yet, without intending to, the story speaks a truth we need to hear. Simply this: we need the Marthas of this world. And what they do is very needful. The author I referred to earlier points out that Martha work involves all those things we want done and expect to be done, but notice only if they're not done. Martha work, the commentator says, is invisible if it's done right. It involves all those things that are necessary to bring comfort and order to our lives and just seem to happen, but in fact testify to the invisible presence of someone behind the scenes working his or her head out. We rely on the invisible Marthas of this world, and what they do is very important, very, very needful. And that's certainly the truth of it when it comes to families. I mean, I'm sure it didn't escape the notice of, well, let's say some among us, that in the story, it's the men who are sitting there having their discussion, while it is the woman who serves them. Now, I don't mean to step on any toes here, but not much has changed in 2,000 years, has it? Often in today's world, it's still the woman, the wife, the mother, who is expected to get dinner on the table, keep the clothes clean, and look after the kids. Well, I'll be relaxing on the couch after a really hard day. Even if she works outside the home and she's expected to do it. You know, and when hubby says, oh, honey, just sit down, don't worry about it. The wife knows she better worry about it because someone has got to do it. Do the needful things to make a home a home. And the same is true in the church. There is so much invisible Martha work that is done, and it's so needful, so important. We expect it, actually. Rely on it. Martha work in the church involves all those things we complain about if they're not done, but rarely notice who does them. Now, why didn't somebody throw away that bulletin I left on the pew last Sunday? Or pick up those scraps of paper I dropped on the floor and say, what happened to coffee during Sunday school? Oh, and why hasn't somebody replaced that burned out light bulb? Did you see how messy that room was? And who in the world decided to do it that way? You know, it should be nice, it'd really be nice if we cut the grass every week. You know, you would think that someone would have put away by now all that stuff I brought over to church last week. And that kitchen, it's as messy as it was 2 weeks ago when I was in there. Now, someone should really do something. And on and on. A million tasks, a big task to a lot of Martha work. Cleaning up and planning and preparing and meeting and doing, paying bills, keeping finances in order. All those invisible things that are very needed. Marthas are both men and women who do what needs to be done to make the church operate, give order to things, make this house inviting. We need our Marthas, that's for sure. And there's another point the story makes, intentional or not. This, as much as Marthas take pleasure in what they do, sometimes they get tired, could use a little help. That's probably why Martha got upset and complained to Jesus. Maybe she grew tired of being invisible, as that commentator I've mentioned suggests. Maybe she finally got tired of never sitting down to enjoy her own parties, and tired to being the woman of the house, the one responsible for everyone else's well-being and comfort. Maybe she finally just about had it, especially with her sister Mary. You get the feeling that Mary's fingernails weren't broken and her hands weren't rough from doing the laundry. Martha probably would have loved to sit at the feet of Jesus, like Mary did. But she also knew somebody had to see to dinner, and without help there'd be no opportunity to sit and listen to Jesus. But maybe just once, Martha wanted Mary to check on the roast so she could enjoy some of the conversation herself. We forget that. Even the Marthas of this world get tired and would appreciate a little help now and then and a chance to join the party. And we can understand that. I think we can understand Martha's complaint and her wanting to know if Jesus really cared that she had to do it all. Because maybe it's us, we, who'd like a little help now and then, and wonder if anyone cares that it's all on our shoulders. There are times when we too maybe have just plain had it with those who sit by and won't lift a finger to help. I don't blame the Marthas of this world for getting a little angry and frustrated. And while, yes, none of this is meant to be the point of the story, maybe it's what we really need to hear from the story. Maybe we need to honor and thank the Marthas of this world, recognize how needful Martha work is, and thank the women and the men who do it, because it's the Marthas of this world who allow us to be like Mary, to sit and listen, sit and learn, sit and enjoy. And something else, we all need to lift a finger to help, lend a hand, get off our big sofas, so that we all of us, even the Marthas among us, can sit down there and enjoy Jesus. So if you are a Martha, then I honor and I thank you for all your invisible work. And I will understand it. Now and then you want to complain and say, Lord, don't you care that others have left me to do all the work by myself? Tell them to help me. Amen.